How you doing, guys and gals? This is Doug Wilson from Yellow Hawk Customs Outdoors. Just a channel update. I want to put out a few things on this video. A couple of them are pretty exciting for the channel, myself, you. Everybody's going to benefit by this. The meat and potatoes of the video, you know, the actual knives and sheaths part. I want to, real quick, we do quite a few sheaths for this knife. This is the Cold Steel SRK. It's been around since at least the early 80s, if not into the 70s. There's been many different slight revisions of this knife. I carried one when I was in the military. The first one that I had, I lost on a combat jump and I replaced it. I don't know where that one is right now. It's probably in my backpacking gear somewhere. This one I purchased as to be a mold knife. This is an SRK Carbon V or a Carbon 5. One of the better SRKs they've put into revision. I want to show you this one. I've showed this one on another video. This is the SRK CPM3V version. And just for this video, I want to show you what's different about these knives. They are different. The sheath, it's a serviceable sheath. The knife does rattle a little bit in the sheath, which I just can't abide, but as far as a tough, you know, gonna do you for a while sheath, this is a nice sheath. I'm not keen on snaps on a sheath. Snaps are a liability. They do come undone, and I know guys personally who have lost knives due to snaps that come undone. So I don't like snaps on sheaths. Okay, so I'm going to put them side by side. Show you this one again. This is the CPM3V version. You can see it says SRK. It stands for Survival Rescue Knife. These are the knives that they're issuing to the BUDS candidates in the Navy. And these are the guys that go on to become Navy SEALs if they're not weeded out of BUDS. That's the weed out phase, basically. Anyway, let's go through the differences. All right. This knife here has a different coating than this knife. The CPM3V version has like a gun blued coating. It's very thin. I have no idea whether it rubs off easy or not. I haven't put this thing through its paces yet. I would imagine it's going to rub off somewhat, but I just don't know yet. This one is their like Teflon coating, that black Teflon, smooth Teflon coating. And I want to say this about coatings. There's a reason companies put these coatings on high carbon blades. It's to keep them from rusting. That's the primary purpose of it. The other purpose is a lot of them are non-glare for tactical situations in the military, you know, covert situations in the military. You don't want the sun glinting off of the blade of your knife. So they put these coatings on there. That's a secondary thing. There's a couple of other reasons why they do it, but the coatings are different. The other thing that's different is the Carbon V seems to have a less sharp spine than the CPM3V version. This guy here, there's no way you're striking a ferro rod with this. Even if you take the coating off, I doubt that it's going to happen. Okay? This guy here strikes a ferro rod just the way it is. It is super sharp. I mean, so sharp you can almost cut yourself on it. It's very sharp. Not the sharpest I've seen, but very sharp. The spine. And the handle texture is just a little bit different. The older Carbon V has like a diamond pattern, checkered pattern on it with these ribs on the back. Great purchase with these handles. Not even getting into the handles. Anyway, this one has more of a stippled, bumpy. Okay, this one's a little more grippy. A little more grippy. Better purchase on the knife. These handles are nice handles. They probably provide the best grip of any knife I've ever held. This type of rubber, this Kraton rubber. I'm just not sure about that finger guard. That's a chunk of rubber. I'd rather it be something solid, and they can do that. They can put something solid there if they wanted to. But, alright, there it is. I've never had one fail on me. I carried one in the military, used it all the time. This thing never broke. Just saying. It's rubber. And the CPM3V version is a little bit longer. I don't know if you can see that. Let me turn it around this way. Let me get them lined up at the hilt, make sure everything looks good. It is a little bit longer, the CPM3V version, which matters with a Kydex sheath, which is the reason why I'm saying all this. It does matter. And this portion right here, the reason it's so wide is because this thing came out of an era where a lot of guys would personalize their knives, and that's one reason they make this block of steel right here. You know, just behind the sharpening choil. A lot of guys used to, and the blade patterns are basically the same, you know, from the 80s till now. Slight differences. Alright, that's it for that. The one piece of information I want to put out is John Mistro, my IT guy, his computer blew up. So for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be doing those t-shirt intros. It's okay. It gets the point across. It's funny. You know, it's comical. I'm kind of comical. Kind of. Anyway, we're going to go with the t-shirt intros until John can get a new computer. I'm helping him a little bit with that. So hopefully within the next week or so, he'll get a computer, because I've grown to really like that intro and all that graphic arts stuff. And okay. Second thing, a few days ago, I got 3 PMs behind the scenes from an incident that was happening on one of the forums. All 3 guys said, "Doug, you better get into this forum," because I was involved in this thread. You better get in there. You know, somebody's wreaking havoc. Somebody's being negative. Okay, so I went in and I saw what was going on. One thing I want to say about guys that are negative all the time: if you have a guy that you think is a constant irritation in a thread and keeps popping up over and over in the threads that you're in, just block him. That's what I did. My whole time in these forums, and I tell you, if I didn't have the business, I wouldn't be as involved in the forums as I am. I have clients in those forums, so I feel more of an obligation. Although I like hearing what guys have to say, I like the equipment and, you know, what guys think about certain pieces of equipment and knives and whatnot. But for the most part, I go in where I started all this because of the business. There's certain things that I do that I wouldn't normally do because of the business, like mention special forces. I don't usually mention special forces to people just that, "Hey man, I was in special forces, you know that?" I don't do that. I never did. So, but I have a business and it helps me. It does. It helps this business. I don't know any SF operator out there who owns a business now, who's out of the military, who doesn't use it to help his business out. Okay? Just want to say that. And that's it in a nutshell. Otherwise, I usually don't mention it. Okay. So anyway, block the person. If somebody's being an irritation to you, just block them. They can't see your posts. You can't see theirs. Because the guys who PM me, what they were telling me was, you know, somebody was calling me names and called me out on this or whatever. I gotta say, I'm very comfortable in my own skin. You know what I mean? I know what I've done. I know what I can do. I know what I can't do. And I always strive for personal improvement. If there's something I can't do and I want to do it, I find a way of doing it. That's personal drive. That's, you know, something that has been there since I was, you know, in high school. So guys like that don't really bother me too much. I've only had to block one person my entire time on the forums. I could have blocked 2 or 3, but I mean, let's face it, sometimes I say things that are a little controversial and a few people get butthurt over it. I apologize for that. It's not intentional. It happens. I am who I am, and I say the things I say just to put out some information that maybe somebody else isn't putting out. And once in a while, somebody gets their feathers ruffled over it. It's just a coincidence. I don't do it intentionally. It's just, I care about the channel, and I want to put out information for my clients and my viewers that is substantial. Something they're not going to hear anywhere else, or probably anywhere else. So that's basically it in a nutshell. So I've had to block one person my entire time on the forums. He can't see my posts. I can't see his. He was becoming such an irritation that it wasn't bothering me, you know, emotionally or anything. I was afraid that it was going to affect my business, because I do this full time. I feed my family with this business, and it's very important to me. What I do, all the things I do at Yellow Hawk Customs Outdoors, is very important to me. I'm making new associations, stuff like that. I don't want those comments from someone else who doesn't even know me to affect my business. Me personally, I could give a fat rat's ass, honestly. So I had to block the guy, you know, and you might be thinking, you know, if I block him, I won't be able to hear what he has to say. Don't worry about it. A lot of times with guys like that who are negative a lot in threads and want to call people out and try to goad them into a keyboard fight off, you know, they don't usually say a whole lot of, you know, anything of substance, anything you want to hear anyway. So I wouldn't worry about it. Just block them, and I think you'll be okay. All right, it works. I've done it. It works. Okay, next thing. Out of that thread, okay, that thread was had to do with a video that someone shared into that forum that they liked about Bob, my buddy Bob, who's been a lifelong friend. Friendships to me, I don't take them casually. I hear that word thrown around. He's my friend. He's my friend. Bob is truly a friend. This is a relationship that's been cultivated over a lifetime. This is a guy that would take a bullet for me. That's a friend. So everybody's got their own ideas of what friendship is. I prefer friends that would take a bullet for me, and I would do the same for them. Those kind of friends. But I also like associations with people. You know, I got buddies on the forums, and we talk and we banter back and forth. That's great. I love it. Hopefully one of those days, one of those guys, 2, 3, 4, 20, will become my friends. So, what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. But see, I get to talking. I know, I ramble. Sorry. Bob was giving a history of the American, you know, iconic American Bowie knife. Well, it wasn't really a history. The title slipped by me. I didn't put the title in there, but I'm responsible for everything that goes on my channel. I have since changed the title of that video. It is not a history of the Bowie knife. It's more of a couple of interesting facts and then blade configurations from then until now, how they've changed and things like that. Bob likes to show his knives. I like to show my knives. I have a plethora of knives. I got a lot. So we like to show our knives, show different knives. You know, like this one here is pretty popular. I'm going to get ready to do a full-on review of it. I don't do a lot of reviews, but when it's a popular knife, and I want, you know, I want to put out my 2 cents on it, if you will. Anyway, what came out of that thread, Mike Stewart from Bark River Knives, the owner of Bark River Knives, got involved in that thread. I think what happened was he read the title, and then he watched the video, and they didn't coincide. The video was not a history of the American, you know, the iconic American Bowie knife. So Mike Stewart has offered to fly me out to Michigan to interview him on the Bowie knife, the whole history. He's going to give as accurate an account as he's able to on film for this channel, so that I can put it out, and that will be a definitive, you know, source and information on the American Bowie knife. So he's going to give the history, and he's going to show a picture of, you know, historians argue about this all the time, so we're going to have our opinions too. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. I'm going to fly out there in September, do an interview with him, interview some other people maybe, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited about that. This is Doug Wilson from Yellow Hawk Custom Kydex. Yellow Hawk Customs Outdoors. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.